Hello, 8th standard CBSE children. Have a nice day. Have a good day. Today we are going to do video number 10, chapter 7, Conservation of Plants and Animals, part 2. We have seen part 1, the same conservation of plants and animals. Now in this video number 10, we are going to see some of the details with we are referring these details with the pictures, our textbook pictures and some collected from other sources we are going to discuss. So we'll just continue chapter 7, Conservation of Plants and Animals, part 2 as video number 10. Right? Now two boys and girls we say, no, Pele and Bujo. This lesson is always dealt with the topic or the concept as they and how far these two children are understanding the concept, and whatever doubt they have, they come across, that is cleared. This is actually an imaginary character. So now we saw in class 7 that Pele and Bujo had visited the forest along with Professor Ahmed and Tebu. They were eager to share their experiences with their classmates. Other children in the class were also eager to share their experience, and some of them had visited Bharatpur Sanctuary. Some others had heard about Kaziranga National Park, Lakchau Wild Sanctuary, Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve and Tiger Reserve. So, there are so many plants and animals. Otherwise, we say there is a wide variety and ranges of biodiversity. These plants and animals, they are present in wide range or wide varieties. So, to protect them, to have them or to maintain the eco-balance or ecosystem, national park, wildlife sanctuary and biosphere reserves are being made naturally, and also some of them as zoo, they are protected. Okay, so to have that protection, we should follow certain condition, or we should have certain ways to protect our environment and to maintain the natural balance ecosystem. So we should always follow afforestation and reforestation, and there should not be any deforestation. So now we will see what is deforestation. The clearing of forest and using the land for other purpose is called deforestation. I repeat, the clearing of forest and using the land for other purposes is called deforestation. Now, what are the causes? The causes for deforestation are procuring land for cultivation, procuring land for cultivation, and building houses and factories, using wood as fuel or making furniture. Plus, the natural causes of deforestation are forest fire and drought. So, in the picture on the forest fire, idella drought. Drought na extreme dry condition. Okay, so this is deforestation. So, it is given a great variety of plants and animals exist on earth. They are essential for well-being and survival of mankind. They are essential for well-being and survival of mankind. And today, major threat to survival of these organisms is deforestation. We know that deforestation means clearing of forest and using land for other purpose. So, the purpose are procuring land for cultivation, building houses and factories, making furniture, or using food for using wood as fuel. In the mono, make it as short answer. Then some natural causes of deforestation are forest fire and severe drought. I hope you are able to follow this. So this is deforestation causes. Then what are the consequences? Consequences na adoda விளைவுகள் என்னென்னன்னு கேக்குறது. Now the two children Peli and Buju recalled the consequences of deforestation. They remembered that deforestation increases the temperature and pollution level on earth. It increases level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Ground level water also get lowered. They know that deforestation disturbs the balance in nature. They were told by Professor Ahmed that if cutting of trees continues, rainfall and the fertility of the soil will decrease. என்ன சொல்றது? Increase in temperature and pollution level on the earth. Increase in level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that leads to global warming. Normally, photosynthesis plants prepare food by the process photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is taken from the atmosphere and oxygen is given out. And in the carbon dioxide, when it is increasing, when the plants are cut, trees are cut, the process of photosynthesis will automatically be decreased. So, carbon dioxide is not utilized by the green plants. So, that will lead to global warming. Then lowering of groundwater level disturbs balance in nature. Balance in nature, plants are the food producers. So, those plants should be eaten by the primary consumers. If no plants are there, if no trees are there, then there is no food for the herbivores. Thereby, first trophic level, the ecosystem is disturbed. Food chain is disturbed. That is, disturbs the balance in nature. Decrease in rainfall leading to drought, soil erosion and decrease in soil fertility leading to desertification. Full desert iron. And decrease in water holding capacity of soil will also leading to flood. I hope you understand. So there will be increased chances for natural calamity. Natural calamity na இயற்கையாவே when there is a disturbance. That is, so plants need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Few trees would mean that less carbon dioxide will be used up by resulting in increased carbon dioxide level. Increase in amount of carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. This will lead to global warming as carbon dioxide traps the heat reflected on the earth, reflected by the earth. The increase in temperature on the earth disturbs the water cycle and may reduce the rainfall. This will cause drought. I hope you understand this. Another deforestation major cause leads to change in soil property. Physical properties of soil get affected by the plantation and vegetation. I hope you understand. And we have learnt in 7th standard as soil erosion and soil pollution and how it could be prevented. That is given there. Then removal of few trees result in more soil erosion. Removal of top layer of the soil exposes lower, hard and rocky layers. This soil has less humus and is less fertile. And gradually the fertile land gets converted into deserts. This is called desertification. Right? And also deforestation leads to decrease in water holding capacity of the soil and the movement of water from the soil surface to the ground. That is called infiltration rate is reduced. So there are floods. The other properties like soil, properties of the soil like nutrient content, texture are also changing because of the soil, because of the change in deforestation. Okay, because change of the soil texture and nutrient content because of deforestation. So these are all consequences of deforestation. Okay, then third point, third concept, conservation of forest and wildlife. What do we know? Forest and wildlife can be conserved by setting up areas like biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries and national park. என்ன சொல்றது? Professor Ahmed organizes a visit to a biosphere reserve for these two children, Pele and Bojo, and their classmates. And he took them to a place named Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve. He knows that plants and animals found here are similar to those of upper Himalayan peaks and to those belonging to lower Western Ghats. Western Ghats வந்து actually நம்ம என்ன சொல்ல பாபநாசத்திலிருந்து அந்த பாம்பே வரைக்கும் உள்ள அந்த மலைக்கு பேரு, மலைத்தொடர்களுக்கு பேரு வெஸ்டர்ன் காட், மேற்கு தொடர்ச்சி மலை சொல்லும்ல அது. So here the lower western Ghats layum some plants and animals பத்தி இந்த children வந்து discuss பண்றாங்க. So Professor Ahmed believes that biodiversity found here is unique. Pachmarhiல வந்து ஒரு unique biodiversity இருக்கு. So he requests the forest employee to guide the children inside the biosphere reserve and he explains the preservation. I hope you understand. So now what is biosphere? It is that part of the earth in which living organisms exist or which supports life. I repeat, நம்ம bookல இருக்கு page 78ல, biosphere is that part of the earth in which living organisms exist or which supports life. Biological diversity or biodiversity refers to the variety of organisms existing on the earth, their interrelationship and their relationship with the environment. So, biological diversity or biodiversity refers to the variety of organisms existing on the earth, their interrelationship and their relationship with the environment. I hope you are able to follow. Then he explains about the government lays down the rules, methods and policies to protect and conserve these animals and plants as wildlife sanctuary, national park, biosphere reserve. So these are the protected areas for conservation of plants and animals present in that area. So to protect our flora and fauna and their habitat. Habitat na place where the organisms live. Protected areas called sanctuaries, national park and biosphere reserve have been earmarked. Plantation, cultivation, grazing, felling of trees, hunting and poaching are prohibited here. The growth of these plants and animals, the plantation, cultivation, grazing, felling trees na maram cut பண்றது, மரத்தை வெட்டி விடுறால அது, hunting and poaching are prohibited here. Sanctuary areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat. I hope you are able to follow this. So this is first method of conservation of plants and animals. National park are areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitat and natural resources. Biosphere reserve, large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plant and animal resources and traditional life of the tribals living in that area. I hope you could follow this. So in the picture paru, these are all biosphere where என்ன சொல்றது, protected land for conservation of biodiversity. ஒரு நிமிஷம் go through பண்ணு, ஒரு second the pictures go through பண்ணு, next explanation. It is about Biosphere Reserve. சரியா? என்ன சொல்லிருக்கோம்? Biosphere Reserve are the large areas protected land for conservation of wildlife, plant and animal resources and traditional life of tribals living in that area. Okay, so now this Biosphere Reserve are large areas protected land for conservation of biodiversity. Then biodiversity is a variety of plants and animals and microorganisms found in that area. The Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve consists of national park called Satpura. Satpurana Satana 7. இந்த 7 மலை வந்து அதை சுற்றி இருக்கும். 7 நேஷனல் ப்ரொடெக்டட் ஏரியா. சாத்புரா நேஷனல் பார்க் சாத்புரா and 2 wildlife sanctuaries called போரி and பச்மார்ஹி. இது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் இந்த லெசனுக்கு, இதை படிச்சுக்கோ. சரியா? The next one, bioreserves are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. I repeat, bioreserves are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. Biodiversity is the variety of plants and animals and microorganisms found in that area. It helps to maintain biodiversity and culture of that area, and it may also contain other protected areas in it. The Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve consists of 1 national park named Satpura and 2 wildlife sanctuaries named Bori and Pachmarhi. I hope you understand. So, idella Pachmarhi Sanctuary. So, this is Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve. Idu vandu Bori Sanctuary. இது வந்து பச்மார்ஹி sanctuary. அதெல்லாம் சாத்பூரா நேஷனல் பார்க். என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கு? 1 நேஷனல் பார்க் நேம்டு சாத்பூரா. இதுதான் நீல் நிமகன் இருக்குல்ல, ஹிந்தி வேர்டு சிலதெல்லாம் புரிஞ்சுக்கோன்னா. சத்புரா நேஷனல் பார்க், இது வந்து பச்மார்ஹி ஏரியா. ஸோ பச்மார்ஹி சாங்சுரி. இது போரி ஏரியா, அதனால போரி சாங்சுரி. இந்த மேப் வந்து நம்ம புக்கில் இருக்கு. நம்ம இந்த மேப்பை கொடுத்து ஐ வில் ஆஸ்க் யூ டு கமெண்ட் ஆன் திஸ் Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve. What are we to write? The Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve consists of 1 national park named Satpura and 2 wildlife sanctuary, Bori and Pachmarhi. I hope you understand. The next one is flora and fauna. Flora and fauna என்ன சொல்றது? Again, Pachmarhi இப்ப தானே சொன்னோம். Flora and fauna. Flora are the plants found in particular area, and fauna are the animals found in a particular area. Flora வந்து plants, fauna வந்து animals. அதை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ. So the flora of Pachmarhi consists of sal, teak, wild mango, jamun, silver fern. இதான் silver fern. சரியா? And then wild mango இல்ல, இது சால், இது வந்து டீக்கு, சில்வர் wild mango அடுத்த பிக்சர்ல காட்டுவேன். and jamun, silver fern. fauna animals வந்து wild dog, cheetah, wolf, leopard, blue bull, barking deer. I repeat, இதெல்ல கேட்பேன் short answersக்கு. wild dog, cheetah, wolf, leopard, blue bull, barking deer, etc. சரியா? So these are all, and then we have wild dog, cheetah, wolf, leopard, fern and jamun இருக்கு நம்ம புக்ல. நான் அடுத்த பிக்சர் காட்டுறேன். So these are all flora and fauna for Pachmarhi Bio Reserve. Okay, the next one, it is நம்ம book diagram. wild dog, cheetah, wolf, leopard, fern and jamun. இது jamun tree. இது வந்து fern. D வந்து leopard, C வந்து cheetah, B வந்து wild, sorry, இது வந்து wild dog, இது cheetah, இது வராது, wolf வரணும், ஒன்று வந்து wolf வரணும். I hope you understand. இதுதான் cheetah. B வந்து cheetah, C wolf, D வந்து leopard, fern, jamun. Okay, so this is நம்ம textbook picture தான் இது கொடுத்திருக்கேன். என்னது? flora and fauna found in the Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve. எதெல்லாம் சொல்லு? Wild dog, cheetal, wolf, leopard, fern and jamun. சரியா? The next one is endemic species. We come across the term endemic species. என்னது? Endemic species are those of plants and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area and not found in anywhere else. They are not naturally found anywhere else. A particular type of animal or plant may be endemic to a zone, a state or a country. So here this Madhavji, the employer of that forest girl, he showed a big squirrel, and the squirrel has a fluffy tail. The squirrel, it has a fluffy tail. So they are very curious to know about it. So this is known as giant squirrel. In the squirrel giant squirrel ne solra. Okay, so I repeat, endemic species are those species of plants and animals found only in a particular area and not found anywhere else. Example, sal, wild mango or endemic flora, Pachmarhi, flora of Pachmarhi, bison, Indian giant squirrel and flying squirrel are the endemic fauna of this area. This is the flying squirrel. I hope you are able to follow this. So this is for the endemic species. The next one, wildlife sanctuaries. Enna solradhu? Wildlife sanctuaries are areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them or their habitat. The killing or capturing of animals in wildlife sanctuary is strictly prohibited. சரியா? அதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம இன்னும் ஒன்று பார்க்கணும். வைல்டு மேங்கோ அடுத்த பிக்சரில் காட்டுறேன். Sal and wild mango are two examples of endemic flora of the Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve. Bison, Indian giant squirrel and flying squirrel are endemic fauna of this area. Okay. And then you should know the term species. Nama bookla 81 la irukku. Species is a group of populations which are capable of interbreeding. This is the definition. Species is a group of population which are capable of interbreeding. This means that members of a species can reproduce fertile offspring only with the members of their own species and not with members of other species. Members of a species have common characteristics. சரியா? அப்புறம் தான் wildlife sanctuaries. இதில் வந்து இப்போ நம்ம species definition தெரியணும், page 81ல. அடுத்தது wildlife sanctuaries, இப்போ definition பார்த்துருக்கோம். Right? Then some threatened wild animals like black buck, நம்ம bookல இருக்கு page 82ல. Some of the threatened wild animals like black buck, white-eyed buck, elephant, golden cat, pink-headed duck, gharial, marsh crocodile, python, rhinoceros are protected and preserved in our wildlife sanctuaries. Indian sanctuaries have unique landscape, broad level forests, mountain forests and bushy lands in bushlands in deltas of big rivers. சரியா? river. அதில் வந்து நிறைய அந்த செடிகள் இருக்கும் இல்லையா, அதை சொல்றது. ஓகே. ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், இந்த வைல்டு மேங்கோ சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, வைல்டு மேங்கோவும் இது வந்து ஜெயண்ட் ஸ்குவிரல் எங்கே இருக்கு? பச்மார்ஹி பயோஸ்பியரில். இது வந்து ஃப்ளோரா, இது ஃபானா. ஐ ஹோப் யூ ஆர் ஏபிள் டு ஃபாலோ திஸ். ஸோ இது எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். அடுத்தது வந்து நெக்ஸ்ட்டு wildlife sanctuary இப்பதான் படிச்சோம். It provides protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. He explains that sanctuaries are places where killing, the poaching, poaching or capturing of animal is strictly protected, strictly prohibited, strictly prevented, strictly prohibited. Prohibition na prevention. சரியா? ஸோ அந்த பிக்சர்ஸ் ஒரு தடவை ரீகால் பண்ண ஒரு செகண்ட் ஃபார் வைல்ட் லைஃப் சாங்சுரி. நம்ம காமிச்சோம் இல்லையா படம், அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் பாரு. The next we should know about, there is a term called rock shelters. இதுவும் important brief answer படிச்சுக்கோ. Rock shelters are found inside the Satpura National Park. These are prehistoric evidences of human life in these jungles. Jungle na forest. சரியா? So these are the prehistoric evidences of human life in these jungles. They give us an idea of the life of primitive people. நம்ம முன்னாடி those were wandering before life came into existence, nomadic life னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Wandering people, they are called wanderers. They are primitive people. Rock paintings are found in these shelters. A total of 55 rock shelters have been identified in Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve. Figures of animals and men fighting, hunting, dancing and playing musical instruments are depicted in these paintings. Okay, and many tribals still live in that area. I hope we could understand. The rock shelter, important brief answer question. Right? The next we do national park. National park are the areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitat and natural resources. Example, Satpura National Park is the first reserve forest in India. The Satpura National Park is the first reserve forest in India. சரியா? So children now eager to go with the Satpura National Park, and these reserves are large and diverse enough to protect the whole set of ecosystem. They preserve flora, fauna, landscape and historic objects of an area. The historic object are the rock shelters. In the slide okay, so I repeat, these Satpura National Park, they preserve flora, fauna, landscape and historic objects of an area, and it is the first reserve forest in India, and finest Indian teak is found in this forest. Are you clear? So the finest Indian teak is found in this Satpura National Park forest. I hope you understand. So in the rendu flora fauna picture or second go through panna, flora and fauna. Idu flora, idu fauna. சரியா? The next one, it is Project Tiger. Satpura Tiger Reserve, they see a board as Satpura Tiger Reserve, and he explains about Project Tiger. It was launched by the government to protect the tigers in the country. The objective of this project was to ensure the survival and maintenance of tiger population in the country. இதை பார்த்துக்கோ, இந்த டைகர் இதுதான் ப்ராஜெக்ட் டைகர் ப்ராஜெக்ட்னு சொல்லுவா. அது ஒரு என்ன சொல்லுது, சாரி, அந்த ஒரு வேகம் சொல்லுவல, அந்த ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் சொல்லுவல, அந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் டைகர் டக்குன்னு அந்த வேர்டு வர மாட்டேங்குது, யோசிச்சு. Project Tiger was launched by the government to protect the tigers in the country. The objective of this project was to ensure survival and maintenance of the tiger population. Right? So this is a tiger. It is a wild buffalo. Name irukku. And then இது பாரசிங்கா. இந்த இதுக்கு பேரு பாரசிங்கா. This animal name is called பாரசிங்கா. I hope you could follow this. The next one is endangered species. என்ன சொல்றது? அடுத்தது endangered animals. Tiger is one of the many species which are slowly disappearing from our forest. But Satpura Tiger Reserve is unique in the sense that significant increase in population of tiger has been seen there. Once upon a time, animals like elephant, wild buffalo and Barasinga. Previous காமிச்சேன்ல அந்த மூணு இதெல்லாம் tiger, wild buffalo and Barasinga were also found in Satpura National Park. Animals whose members are diminishing and might face extinction. And these animals are known as endangered animals. Tiger is one of the many animals which are slowly diminishing. To protect the tigers, in our country, government has launched Project Tiger program to ensure the survival of tiger population. Dinosaurs have already become extinct. Red data books are books which keeps a record of all endangered plants and animals. I hope you are able to follow this. The next one is ecosystem. Ecosystem என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா, when there is a balanced presence of food chain as producers, plants, consumers as primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer, and finally as decomposers, when they are maintained in a normal level uniformly without affecting one trophic level or the other, it is having a same components. So it is here, an ecosystem consists of all plants and animals and microorganisms living in an area along with non-living components like climate, water, soil, etc. It made up of all plants along with them. So at the same time, the food chain trophic level should also be maintained. இதுக்கு for ecosystem. So small animals are much more in danger of becoming endangered species. He explains that small animals are much more in danger of becoming extinct than bigger animals. At times we kill snakes, frogs, lizards, bats and owls ruthlessly. Ruthlessly na kal manasoda ஒரு என்ன சொல்றது, பாவமே பார்க்காம பண்றோம்ல அது, without realizing their importance in the ecosystem. By killing them we are harming ourselves. They might be small in size, but their role in the ecosystem cannot be ignored. So they form part of the food chain and food web, about which நம்ம already படிச்சிருக்கோம், food chain, food web. So that ecosystem should be maintained. என்ன சொல்றது, an ecosystem, I repeat, consists of all plants and animals and microorganisms living in an area along with the non-living components of climate, water, soil, etc. This is migration. Migration another, it is a movement of animals from its own habitat. Movement of animals from its own habitat to some other habitat for a particular time period every year due to climatic changes or for breeding. என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா, first migration they migrate from one place to other due to climatic conditions. Some animal they cannot live in very hot climate or cold climate. So accordingly they migrate from one place to other. So first one is migrating birds flying. சரியா, இது migratory birds in a place. ரெண்டு picture, right? So migration is the movement of animals. 1 minute. Some of the birds near the river, they are moving. They are called migratory birds. These birds have flown here from to other parts of the area. Migratory birds fly to faraway areas every year during a particular time because of climatic changes. They fly for laying eggs as the weather in their natural habitat becomes very cold and inhospitable. So they for breeding channel, yeah? So to lay eggs. Birds who cover long distance to reach another land are known as migratory birds. நம்ம இதை இன்னொரு சின்ன கிளாஸ்லயே படிச்சிருக்கோம் இல்லையா? So this is about migratory bird. இந்த picture வந்து birds flying. Now birds they are in land. Aquatic bird இது வந்து aquatic animal. Crane நினைக்கிறேன் இது பேர். Just confirm பண்ணிக்கோ. This is migratory birds. Okay. The next one, red data book. Red data book is the source. Red data book is the source book which keeps a record of all endangered animals and plants. நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி படிச்சோம்ல endangered animals, endangered species which are going to become extinct or which are already extinct. They are maintained in their names and the numbers, their population and about their life history. It is maintained in a book that is called red data book. நம்ம மியூசியம்ல எல்லாம் சில இது மெயின்டைன் பண்ணுவோம் ரெக்கார்ட். அதுல வந்து one of them is red data book. It is the source book which keeps a record of all endangered animals and plants. There are different red data book for plants, animals and other species. இது வந்து கூட நம்ம other details நம்ம page 84ல இருக்கு, சில வெப்சைட் கொடுத்திருக்கோம் about the red data book. You can also go through that in the other details. சரியா? அடுத்தது வந்து next recycling of papers. Recycling of papers picture பாரு. நம்ம வந்து இந்த பழைய நியூஸ் பேப்பர்லாம் வாங்கிட்டு போறோம் இல்லையா, இந்த குப்பையில எல்லாம் பேப்பர் எடுக்கிற பாரு, அது recycling of papers. So this Professor Ahmed draws the attention of children to another cause of deforestation. He tells them that it takes 17 full grown trees to make 1 ton of paper. இது ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ, இந்த கொஸ்டினும் important brief answer. Recycling of paper. It takes 17 full grown trees to make 1 ton of paper. So we should save paper. எதுக்கு இந்த பேப்பரை இது பண்ணக்கூடாது, ஏன்னா நம்ம வந்து ஒரு 17 ட்ரீஸை கட் பண்ணுறோம் 1 டன் ஆஃப் பேப்பர் பண்ணுறதுக்கு. சரியா? So that paper can be recycled 5 to 7 times for use. If each student use at least 1 sheet of paper in a day, we can save many trees in a year. We should save, reuse used paper and recycle it. By this, we not only save trees but also save energy and water needed for manufacturing paper. Moreover, the amount of harmful chemicals used in the paper making will also be reduced. So I repeat, about 17 full grown trees are required to produce 1 ton of paper. So paper can be recycled about 5 to 7 times for use. So we should save, reuse and recycle paper to save not only to trees but also to save the energy, water and chemicals used to make paper. சரியா? So என்ன சொல்றது, 17 full grown trees வந்து நம்ம கட் பண்றோம். எதுக்கு? To prepare to make 1 ton of paper. So அதை அவாய்ட் பண்றதுக்காக the paper can be recycled 5 to 7 times for use. And if each student saves at least 1 sheet of paper in a day, we can save many trees in a year. We should save, என்ன சொல்றது, we should save, reuse and reuse used paper and recycle it. By this, we not only save trees but also save energy and water needed for manufacturing paper. And also the amount of harmful chemicals used in the paper making will also be reduced. So this is for recycling of paper. For a second, go through paneda. Recycling of paper. 17 full grown trees to make 1 ton of paper. அதை மறக்காம ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோ. ஸோ நான் இந்த பிக்சரை கொடுத்து கூட நான் வந்து கமெண்ட் ஆன் த கிவன் ஃபிகர்னாக்க நீ வந்து அதை சொல்லணும். இந்த ரீசைக்ளிங் ஆஃப் பேப்பரை பற்றி யூ ஹாவ் டு சே. ஆர் கிளியர்? கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டோட படிக்க தொடங்கினா இந்த லெசன் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கும். ஓகே, தென் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், அது last வந்துட்டோம், லாஸ்ட் பார்ட் ஆஃப் இட். Reforestation is the restocking of destroyed forests by planting new trees. Reforestation is the restocking of destroyed forests by planting trees. We should plant at least many trees as we cut. We have already caused a lot of damage to our forest. So if we have to regain our green wealth, reforestation is the only option. Plant nadralya, chedi nadralya. So deforestation is the reforestation. Reforestation is the restocking of destroyed forests by planting new trees. The planted trees should be generally be of the same species which were found in that forest. We should plant at least as many trees as we cut. And reforestation can take place naturally also. சில plant வந்து அந்த வேர் அடியில் ஊட்டிட்டு இருக்கும் இல்லையா, ஸோ அது கூட நேச்சுரலாக வரலாம். And if the deforested area is left undisturbed, it re-establishes itself. Suppose நம்ம வந்து டிஃபாரஸ்டேஷன் பிளான் கட் பண்ணி அதை அப்படியே விட்டுருந்தோம்னா அந்த மரம் வந்து திரும்ப தழைக்கும். அதுதான் if the deforested area is left undisturbed, it re-establishes itself. In natural reforestation, there is no role for human being. And we already made a tremendous damage to our forest, so we should not cut trees. If we have to retain our green wealth for generation, planting of more trees is the only option. I hope you could follow this. So Ahmed told them that professor told them that in India we have Forest Conservation Act. It is important 2-mark question. Forest Conservation Act. This act aimed at preservation and conservation of natural forests. This Forest Conservation Act aimed at preservation and conservation of natural forests and meeting the basic needs of the people by living in or near the forest. It is important short answer padichukko, right? And then then he was summing up, Pele and Buju, they were summing up the lesson in what way they have understood the lesson. So first ஞாபகப்படுத்த வேண்டியது வந்து Forest Conservation Act. Okay, so first you should remember deforestation and then consequences of what is deforestation, causes of deforestation, consequences of deforestation, and then conservation of forest and wildlife. Conservation of forest and wildlife. Then where we are talking about wildlife sanctuary, Biosphere Reserve, Wildlife Sanctuary, National Park. And then Biosphere Reserve, we have learnt about Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve, and Satpura National Park. ஞாபகம் சாத்புரா நேஷனல் பார்க் பற்றி சொல்லணும். And then flora and fauna found in Pachmarhi National Park, Bioreserve, and then endemic species. Then what is species? You should know. Species is a group of population which are capable of interbreeding. This means that members of a species can reproduce fertile offspring only with the members of their own species and not with members of the other species. The members of the same species will have common characteristics. And then about wildlife sanctuary, where we have said about Project Tiger program, and then endangered animal ecosystem, red data book, and then migratory birds, recycling of papers, and reforestation. So these are the concept we have learnt for another conservation of plants and animals as part 2 in video 10. I hope you are able to follow this. So what you have learned so far is conservation of plants and animals, chapter 7, video number 10, part 2. Video number 10 the conservation of plants and animals, part 2. Part 1 வந்து நம்ம video 9 ல already படிச்சாச்சு. I hope you understand. So I will continue in the next video session. So go through the lesson. அப்பதான் doubt clearing போது நமக்கு என்னென்ன டவுட்ங்கிறத we will clarify. All the best. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you.